I'm quite happy with them. I think I'm going to replan, but I wanted to show that not everything goes right when you're planning the builds, and I like the fact I can make the mistakes so you don't have to. So, you know, if you do this and do the roads, definitely have some clamps to stop it bowing. I like the concept of having the light gravel and the dark gravel and not having to use a lot of proper resin, even though what was I going to say? I like the fact that it still has resin in there, so it does have it's a really good water effect, but it didn't cost the earth. I did make some rivers, but the river didn't seem to flow through like an imperial grimdark city. That would make sense. So the canal ways I think were better. I'm really happy with the bridges and the way that the bridges turned out. I think they work well together, but how they work together actually on the board I need to change, and I'm gonna figure that out. Now I've got the buildings together on the board, and if you've not checked the board build, I'll put a link in as well. But how the board works, I think I will revisit the waterways. But these were, it's like my 4th attempt at doing these, and I think I spent about well over $100 on resin that I just wasted and messed up with. So they're playable, they look cool on the board, as you can see from the intro. They're acceptable, but they're still not quite right for me. So let's get started on the waterways. So again, I used plasticard. I do like plasticard for all my construction stuff. The idea being, I think it's a bit more hard wearing than the chipboard or card. And this is the first time I've used plasticard for the actual bases as well. But as you can see, I made 2 little narrow channels. I've cut out the details. On my website, if you want to download them, you can download the template to make these. Cut one out really carefully, and then you can score around it. I put a bit of Sharpie on there just to see where I was cutting, and yeah, I wanted to make an effect that mirrored my roads and the bridges. So it's a bit of a walkway, it's just a bit narrower. And it's just a case of gluing all these down. You can also see that I've added some little rivets on there. These are actually micro balls that I used for their solder, and I've put a link below so you can have a look and get some of them as well. I think they just add extra details. So it's just a case of adding the top panels on each side, and a few bits of detail. So I put a few skulls on there and some vents, and the idea is that I am going to, that I use the bits from the Sector Imperialis kit. You can buy the actual single sprues on eBay for a few dollars, a few pounds, and there's some barrels in there that are broken and stuff, so I'm going to put a sunk barrel in the water and just add a bit of detail. You don't need to do that. If you're just making a modular river and not following my boards, you could just make them straight and don't have to have the weird triangle shape, but these are so my bridges fit over. But anyone could follow along. I decided to paint these red because my mechanic and buildings for my board are red. I like to undercut in black and then start with a bit of purple as the shadow. I like that effect, and you can see there I'm going in with a darker red. I'm using Green Stuff World reds for these, but you could use whatever equivalent one you've got. I'm not big on the colours. I've gone a purple, so find a purple, like a royal purple, going with a dark red, and then I'm going to bring it up with a lighter red, possibly a reddy orangey mix, but it's just a case of covering it with the airbrush. You could happily and easily do that with a dry brush as well. I just use the tools that I've got. So yeah, you can see there I've gone into the orange, and I've just going to sort of the centre and the corners and just giving it a bit of interest. It doesn't make sense It's not right from a light source point of view, but it looks cool, so that's all that matters to me. The idea with the tile is to make it look a lot deeper, so you can see I'm going on the edge to give that a look bright, and then it'll go dark, so it looks like it's got a natural shadow. So you know, sometimes when you're looking at water and you don't know how deep it is, that's the idea I was going for. So yeah, I think they look pretty cool. I'm happy with them. They keep in theme with my board. So it was just a case of dropping something on there. I think I was cleaning my airbrush at that point. So you can see there I'm just going over and painting the skulls gold and just painting some of the details in there. Just to, again, for me it's the extra details that make it pop. So they didn't take too long to paint. There's just the skulls. Then it's in with the Geek Gaming base ready. I put quite a lot on actually. I don't know if you need that much, but I really wanted to sort of seal everything in as well. So I am going to be doing a resin pour. I've shown you some of my mistakes. I've left them in. I really did mess up with some of the resin. But I learned a lot. I learned that I'm a really tight Yorkshireman, and I think I spent about $100 on resin just to make these because I messed up so many times. But there you go. So yeah, spreading out the base ready. I definitely needed a bigger brush. So I used my Given brush, as in my finger. I don't recommend doing that actually with the base ready because it's like the world's stickiest PVA glue. It took ages to get it off. So if you are going to do that, wear a glove or buy a bigger paintbrush. Yeah. Just a quick, it's that time in the video where I say a quick, please like, subscribe and comment and help me grow this channel. If you would like to see me do anything different to the boards, if you'd like to see me paint more models, do that kind of stuff, just please let me know in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you and see what you want from me. Yeah. So what I decided to do, like I said, light at the edges, dark in the middle. So I went in with this. I think it's I can't remember what this is. Yeah. Sent it with a lighter rubble on the shallow sides, and then in with the mountain path, which is sort of a mix of black and everything. Bit of grey slate in there. Again, just sort of building a stripe. And then straight down the straight down the middle with the black city rubble. That I've not got a lot left. But yeah, straight down the middle, and spread that round to give it that perception of depth, which ultimately means you don't have to use as much resin. Yeah, that worked well. And I'm quite happy with that. And it was just a case of leaving it to dry. Then it comes to a case of dropping some of the iso alcohol to release the tension. It really does work. It does make a difference. I could probably do with a better way of saturating everything. Maybe a pipette or something, but it worked. And then just sealing it in as well, which works miles better out of the dropper, out of the syringe with no needle on. But I had no issues with it moving around. It just takes a bit of time to dry, depending on where you are in the world. Then comes a resin pour. So I just bought a kit. I've put the link in. I got it from Amazon. It wasn't too much money. and this one kit managed to do all 3 rivers, which I don't think is too bad. It's going across a decent sized board, and I just followed the instructions. I hated doing this, and I did mess up. These are the finished, dried. It was just a case of pulling the corners off and just cutting into them slightly to make sure that the bridges can sit flushly. But I think it's a really cool effect. It looks like dark water. It does look like dark, deep water. And I'm really happy with the effect. You can also see there that I cut some ladders off from the kits. Basically, I think I got 2 ends of the ladders and just glued them in as well. I did that off camera. I thought that added a bit, again, more visual effects to it and just a bit more detail. Yeah, I had to use my Dremel to sort of drill, push out some of the resin for everything to sit flush, but I'd rather do that than have it leak everywhere. If you're messing with any kind of resin, wear a mask. I know I get told off by certain people. You know who you are, but I do wear a mask, honest. So yeah, let's have a look at the sort of the canal spinning around. And like I said in the beginning, I made some mistakes, clamp them down, but the overall effect is really cool, and I am going to make some new ones. I've got some different ideas about how I can make these rivers fit into the board, and I've got some higher bridges because I plan on building a working train set as well. So there you go. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please check out some of my other stuff. If you'd like to see me do anything different or ask any questions, just add them in the comments. Thank you very much.